First off, thank you to We for providing this knife for the pass-around group. But when I first got this knife in, um, I went to like, you gotta avoid this knife. And then after using it, it kind of grew on me, and then now it's kind of more towards a buy. So it's kind of a thin line between love and hate type of thing. As a place we're working to build that community to allow for discussion, we're providing specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. Today we're going to be looking at a knife here for the Wii Stixx. So if you like the review, then do consider subscribing to the channel as well. So this is a really, just a very gorgeous knife. So with this bronze and black washed finish on the upper part of the knife, as well as the pivot hardware, and then as well as the regular hardware, and then that's probably the biggest barrel spacer I've ever seen. But there's that, and then your knife's apart. I haven't taken this one apart, but just looking at it, it's very beefy. This one's a Willumsen design, so that's one thing that I remember the World knife. So this is not a World knife. This is going to be a little bit better than that. But as far as the things I did not like right off the bat was this corner. I felt that it was digging into my hand when I was actually actuating the knife. And then also for the flipper tab, it does have a little bit of upswept to the end. So that digs into your finger when you're actuating the flipper tab in this manner. But it does actually match up aesthetically with the scales. So it actually has this little step, which actually captures your finger. And then that flipper tab actually matches up with that. But I really would have just rather have them just make that a slope. So if it actually sloped down, just knock off that end, and then that would have been awesome. But I did find in using it that it changed the way that I actually deployed the knife. I guess you learn a little bit, kind of like when you get prodded by something long enough, you move. So to actually deploy it, so instead of using the flipper tab in this manner, I was using it in the flipper tab in more of like a hook, like so I'd actually hook my finger around it and then deploy it that way. Very much more comfortable doing it this way than the prior, and it's just nice. Just a really handsome looking knife. I mean, it is very much a very nice knife here. So what we're going to be doing, so with the comparison that we have, so the knife is only carried in a right hand tip up configuration for this, but we're going to be looking at some of the other knives. Just going to give you a size comparison for it. I'm going to get this one sent out. This is a super old knife. It's been around forever, but I found somebody that's going to customize it a little bit for me. And that's going to be the Kershaw Blur. This one's going to be the S30V version. Then if you haven't seen this knife, Nemesis knives, this one's a customized one, but they do have the MPR 2, and they have MPR 1, which is also a Tanto version for that blade. And then we have the Perpetua, full-size Griptilian, the Medford Smooth Criminal, the standard as far as the Rat 2. Then we have one of the steel wheels, which is the Intrigue. And then there's a new coloration, so if you like it, you can pre-order it as well, and then they will be coming out, and the Piercer's coming out. I've been told that the Antlock, this is the year for the Antlock, and that's been a few years in the making for that. But that's the kind of the sizing on that one. We'll look at the hand size for the knife, so we're going to go look at the adult women's hand, and this is going to be kind of in the way that you'll be holding the knife, so it looks kind of odd with it being upside down, but when you're actually holding it, so that's why it's kind of matching up with that thumb there. You're actually doing the hold for that knife. So it also has an adult male hand, so you can take a look at that. And then you can print off this chart as well. So if you print it out, then you can actually kind of see where it's going to sit in your hand without actually having it with you. So that might help you out as well. So this one has M390, and as always with we, they are kind of the Where's Waldo related to the information that you're looking for. So you have M390 right there. So they have probably the least amount of billboarding. So you do have the Willumsen logo there for it, but there's not a lot going on as far as different things on the blade normally. So that's a little bit more than normal for we. But for this one, we do have the M390. So M390, if you look over the steel chart, it is going to be on that upper end. So it's going to be one of the steels that is really to that top end. There's still a few others that surpass it, but you're going to still have just an amazing as far as the edge retention for the knife, as well as even the toughness and the corrosion resistance. So if you see on the chart as far as where that is, it's very much on the upper end of the scale for it. So refer to that chart by Creely blades. You can print that out as well. It makes it a little bit easier to look at once you print it out, because it is a little bit small writing and there's a lot of information there. So do appreciate him for actually putting that together, because it is quite a bit of work. And then we do have for this one, for a weight, 4.66 is what is listed. 4.67 is what I was able to get for it. So very close to it, nothing big there. And then for the weight, so we're going to do the pull test on it. So we do use the Lyman pull gauge for it, and then we'll see where this one sits. So about 2 to 3 pounds of pull is normally pretty enjoyable as far as a flipper tab. So we're going to just see where this one sits. If you can see on there, so we're a little bit past 2, creeping up, creeping up. So 4.14. So that's going to be a little bit of the reason why that's kind of uncomfortable to work with at 4 pounds. So we'll try that one more time just to make sure that there wasn't any type of error with that, because then that's going to be a little bit high. I wasn't even expecting that as far as how much weight that was to do that pull. Okay. 4.6. So yeah, so that's where some of that might be the reason for the discomfort. So as you have that last ridge that sweeps up, that does dig into your finger when you use it. So that's why I did do the roll type of deployment. So for the knife, you have different deployment methods. So this one just have the light switch type of deployment, and then it does have the holes, so you can do the thumb, and then also for the middle finger flick. So it's decently, it's okay, but really I prefer just to use the flipper tab, because it gets kind of awkward with some of the angles that getting your finger to actually do that other deployment for it. So this one for the knife roll, you can kind of see where it is. And then really the pocket clip on this is very good. In and out of the pocket, it's a good tension. It holds well, but it's not something that really catches up. So it's something that's just really good as far as the way they tune that in for that pocket clip for this knife. And then we're looking at the blade length. So they have a 3.45 for it. I got a 3.69, so that I took it all the way from the start of the blade all the way to the tip, and then they have also listed for a cut length of 1.25 for here. So the blade handle, so this one is 4.55 is what they list for it, and then I got a 4.66, so a little bit different also for that. For the actual sharpness on this one, so the sharpness test for it, I came in at a 216. So that's still very good. And that's going to be between utility razor blade and new high-end cutlery. And then also, if you look at the actual microscope one, of the actual the grind, it is actually a little bit of a toothy grind, so it actually isn't straight across. You do have a little bit of a ridging for it, as you see on that microscope shot for it. This one, as far as the current price, is $253. MSRP is $298 for it. So that's something that is kind of that going rate for it for some of these blades. But it's a fairly nice knife when I was actually using it. But again, it was really, when I picked it up the first time, actually the first few times, I did not like it. I was like, this is horrible. But I got used to it. And then it's actually pretty nice. So the other wee knife that I really like, even though it looks a little odd, is the wee bullet that I was able to also review. But yeah, pick it up if you like it. It's a very, very handsome knife. The coloration, I like this color the best. I don't like the blue very much, but this one is a really nice setup as far as the coloring, all the hardware, and then the carbon fiber. Actually, it does add a little bit of grip. So that's one thing about they do have very refined methods, but sometimes it makes it a little too slick, so it can be a little too refined. So this one has a good balance for it. So let me know in the comments down below as far as what you think, and thank you very much for your time.